Good morning, Giants. Welcome to Wake Up with Giants TV. Have you ever wondered how to reclaim your life? Good morning, Giants. Welcome to Wake Up with Giants TV. I'm Ryan Morrison, and as always, I am here with your host, the mystical giant Nicholas T. Smith. And if you haven't subscribed or liked this on Facebook or YouTube, go ahead and do that. Hit the alert button so you can see when we go live. We're on 8 different platforms now, which is phenomenal, and broadcasting out like crazy. And soon will be a podcast as well, I think, on Spotify. So,
And more.
and more.
Yeah.
So if if you want to know when we go on, which I hope you do, go do it.
And if you haven't done it, smash that subscribe button.
Smash
I don't know why you haven't yet.
Oh,
Yes, there you go. Yes, I'm so excited, Nick, for our guest today. It's going to be, I think it's going to be the best show we've ever had.
Always.
Only
I'll
always.
introduce her. Yeah,
Perfect.
we've got Nadine Larder. We can call her Gam Gams,
you
maybe.
can call me
Gam
Gam Gam.
Yeah.
Aw.
Gam Gam, that's what my grandbabies call me.
She's a
Can we call
beautiful
you Gam
human.
Gam? I love that.
Gam Gam. We're here live with Gam
Name
Gam.
ever?
I could
That's
use
my-
more Gam Gams.
Exactly.
So Gam Gam, Nadine, is a entrepreneur. First, though, she's a child of God, so she relies on her faith as her foundation. Now, she's an entrepreneur, and she's built businesses that have generated millions of dollars. She's also crashed. I mean, you've been on the opposite side of that.
I've lost signal.
Did we
Well,
lose you?
We'll get her. We'll get her back. Just pop out and come back in if you'll message her. We'll just keep going with your intro, and then when you come back, we'll get you. So hang tight, everybody. Can you see us now?
Maybe frozen.
Yeah, this
in
is
time.
beautiful.
Gam
Okay,
Gam
the
is
best-
experiencing technical difficulties.
The best episodes are the ones with the technical difficulties. So
Yeah, they are.
I love the frozen frame
Yeah.
of her smiling. Well, I'm going to introduce her
We'll pause
anyway.
it for
So
just a sec.
yeah. So she's rebounded and recreated her life following her divorce. And so she went through a period of kind of just gaining weight, which was huge for her. There was one point she was in bed for 6 months. She couldn't even get out of bed. And now she's reclaimed her life, reclaimed her energy, reclaimed everything. And she's back with us when she comes back on. And so you'll see in the comments ways to follow Nadine. I'll also scroll those at the bottom here, but she's an incredible artist. So you'll see some murals that she's done if you follow her website.
Yeah, with
But
the
yeah.
like if you go to and follow the ultimate coach, Steve Hardison, you'll see a mural that she did. What was the 1111 mural?
Yeah, I think so. Let's see.
Oh,
I'm gonna
she
send her a
says.
note.
Oh, here she comes. She's coming in hot.
Coming in hot. There
Well,
she
Mike,
is.
I'm on my phone now.
That's okay.
Let's do it. Let's
Hey,
run
look.
with it.
Gam Gam down.
Gam, gam. Hit the
The thing
button.
about
Hit
this
the
is-
button.
I don't have my headphones. Hang on. I have to
She
do some
smashed the button
adjusting
too
here.
hard.
Yeah. Gam Gam fell down and she can't get up.
Oh
I'm
no.
telling you, that is hilarious. That's funny.
Restored.
Okay,
Yes.
hang on. I got to put my phone in a holder here.
You
Wow.
know the beauty of
Wow.
technical difficulties
It's
is
perfect.
we've
Live
gone
TV.
through all of them.
Live TV.
We've gone through the
There we
Gam Gambit of technical difficulties.
Okay, here we go.
All right, can
I'm
you
on
hear
my
us?
phone now. Let's hope. How's the sound?
Well, it's
That's
good.
good.
Well, it was a great show. We're glad we had you on. And
Yeah,
so-
thanks so much. We'll talk
What
to you
did we
next
talk
All
time.
right, guys. See you later.
Was I good?
You were
Yeah,
so
you were
good.
Now we just introduced you, and so I want to dive in first before we go into anything. How did you and I connect?
Through Steve.
Steve.
Through Steve. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
I think
sure
it
through
was.
Steve. There's a
Tell
lot
me-
of people I connect with because of Steve.
Can you share the book experience? What happened there?
I am so sad because the book is in the other room. and I really wanted to have it with me on my person.
Shoot, you can go grab it.
Here, I got it
grab
on
it
my
really
person.
quick.
Yeah.
Let me just go grab it. Hang on.
Yep.
I gotta grab it.
Well, that's weird looking with the green
Yeah,
screen.
kind of blends, doesn't it?
Yeah, see through.
If
Holding.
you guys haven't gotten the book yet, go to Giants and Smalls and get it. Shameless plug right there.
We don't do that very often.
Oh, we've got
There's
3,000 more copies coming on the 11th of November, 11/11. No accident there.
3,000 more of you can experience the fun, the magic.
Here we go.
All right, this
feel
is
like
a great
just
story. Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Am I breathing? Am I in sorts right now?
You are doing, yeah.
You're in flow. Feeling it.
Here's my book. Okay,
Yes.
so, and I'm definitely a giant.
Yes.
So this book was given to me and it says, Steve, don't give this book away. This is your copy. Thank you for being so giant in the world. I love you. And I assume that's Nick. Is that your?
Yeah, that's me.
Okay.
We're
So
gonna have that authenticated.
Steve, do not give this book away.
Steve, do not give this book away. I love my book.
Yeah.
And it was, when he gave me the book, it's like I recorded a whole video about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did. It was awesome.
I was so
Do we have a link to
touched.
that? Yeah.
We'll go back and find it.
But keep
I
going.
was so touched. And the best way to really hear that story is to because I told it immediately.
Yeah.
I was so touched to have given this book. I was crying. Didn't I cry? I always cry.
You did cry. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you have an incredible energy, there's
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that very much.
Thank you.
I love Gam Gam.
So I'm curious because if we go back in your journey and really explore you, that's what we try and do is create a connection with people of we all have different start points. We all have different journeys. The journey of being a giant is really similar. So we'll see similarities in that. But for you going all the way back in time, I mean, were you always a giant? Were you, how was family life growing up? What was it like?
This is what's funny, okay, is that, so I have one sibling. I'm the oldest. And when my father would introduce us, my father would always say, this is Nadine, my hippie child, and this is Lisa. That's how he would always introduce me like that.
Yeah.
And my parents are stunned. It's so sad, but they really didn't think that I was going to amount to much.
Yeah.
I was like a butterfly, just flittering here and flittering there. And I was very flippant about stuff and, very laid back, a hippie child. Seriously.
Flittery flippant.
Yes.
Gam Gams.
Yes.
Running the gambit. I'm going to run.
Yes. And I just didn't care about a lot.
Yeah.
And I am such a passionate person. Like I am, whatever I do, I'm highly passionate about it. Well, number one, because I have ADHD. And so it encourages me to.
We actually say it this way.
Yeah.
I'm going to post that up.
We made a brand name.
Can you see this on the, let's.
You will here in 4 seconds.
Banner. There we go.
ADHD. I love it.
Yeah. You're running at 80 miles an hour in HD.
Dang straight. I tell you what, I really do believe it's one of the greatest gifts of my life. It is such a tremendous gift to me to have ADHD. It's fabulous. I love it. I really do. I'm thankful.
That's Mr. North too.
Yeah. And so, it allows me to really learn things really fast. It allows me, it's like I become very hyper-focused. I did not, a lot of people know me because of the mural in Steve's backyard.
Yeah.
And in case you didn't know, I am the artist. See the art behind me. I am the artist that painted the 11/11 masterpiece wall in Steve Hardison's backyard. Took me 5 months. Wow. And I painted, it's been almost 5 years. And when he contacted me to paint that wall, I had only been painting for 18 months.
Oh, wow.
Like I didn't know I knew how to paint until 2015. I had never picked up a paintbrush before until 2015.
Wow.
And so I learned that I did know how to paint. And I taught myself how to paint. And
that seamlessly went from your dad calling you the hippie child to painting, and I didn't even notice the transition. Like we just closed the gap on 50 years like that. That was ADHD. Yeah. Beautiful. Anyway, keep going. Keep going.
Well, and I went in growing up, in my childhood, the one huge piece I left out is that I was a baton twirler when I was a child.
Me too.
And so say you too?
He still is. It's golf clubs.
And so it really taught me discipline.
Yeah.
Because when I say I was a baton twirler, people think, I'm leading the band in the, weekend parade. No, it's not like that. It's a baton twirler, like, preparing for the Olympics. Baton twirler. I had a job every day as a child. Every day I had a job to come home, put my stuff down, get my snack, get my practice clothes on. And I had to practice every day for 2 hours minimum. And so it really taught me discipline.
I love that.
In that part of my child, being that in my childhood, because I did it from the time I was 5 till the time I was like 16.
Have you always been disciplined like that then, or was that innate or developed? What do you think there?
Gee, that's a really good question. I don't know.
I try and do that.
I'm not sure.
Every now and again, he gets a good one in.
I don't know.
Most of them are just like, and then he'll throw one good one in, and it's like, all right.
Yeah, 99%.
Thanks, Natalie. I appreciate that.
It is.
So, yeah, it really. But I think it taught me discipline.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I am pretty disciplined, except when my ADHD comes in and goes, squirrel. There's something over. There's a shiny object.
Yeah. Well, that's the fun of it, right? I'm so I get so narrow focused, like that's all I can see. And then we get Ryan over here, and he's like squirrel everywhere. So we actually work really well together because of that.
Yes.
Because
it is the perfect compliment.
Yeah. Could you imagine a show of Nick just pure discipline? It would be like people would be irritated.
I'm gonna have
I hate this guy.
I'm gonna let you guys work that out.
Yeah. So you're in this world. So as a child, you learned discipline through baton twirling, right?
Yeah.
What was life like for you? I mean, outside of that, how was family life outside of that? Did you have a good relationship with your? Okay, perfect. Yeah. Dysfunctional.
Very dysfunctional.
Yeah.
Yes.
Practice at night when the squirrels are sleeping.
I do believe the dysfunction I grew up in definitely led to trauma and lots of therapy.
Yeah.
Still do therapy every week. And I think it really taught me a lot.
Yeah.
It gave me a lot that I can work with to offer back and help other people.
Yeah. Would you be who you are?
Without my trauma, without my story, without all the things I've been through, obesity.
Yep.
And I do believe that my childhood led to my obesity.
Okay.
And, healing. It's like, it took a lot to heal my obesity.
Right.
Of going within, healing within, working with coaches like Steve and, all my other coaches that I work with. I have the best coaches. I do. And my therapists.
Yeah. I love that you say that plural, because it's and therapy and coaching go a lot in line. They're real similar. But you wouldn't be who you are today without the coaches, without the therapy, without the trauma. And so when you say dysfunctional, what you might label as dysfunctional is actually probably more common than we know. because people don't talk about it, right? So it's like what we're labeling as broken or dysfunctional is actually the foundation for who we've all become.
Yeah, I mean, what person grew up in a functional home? It's like, what person really grew up in Leave It to Beaver?
Yeah, I don't know. That would be terrible. That would be traumatic in and of itself, I think.
Well, it certainly wouldn't prepare you for life. That's for
Mom
sure.
and Dad are the Beavers.
Yeah. Hi,
Joan,
Mom.
Joan and Cleve. Is that what it was?
Cleaver Beaver. I don't know.
It really was.
It was Joan. I can't remember the Ward.
Ward.
Is
it? Ryan, you're older than you let on, man.
Something
knowing
like
that information.
I hang out with old people.
Yeah.
Hey, I resemble that comment.
I resemble that. I just thought of The Sixth Sense.
You know who you are.
I see old people.
Hey, gosh. So funny. People on my TikTok channel ask me how old I am, and I am open. I'm 55 years old, and I'm open. I don't, I'm not embarrassed to be 50. I earned all this gray hair.
Yeah, every one of them.
Every single one. This lady comes on my TikTok 2 days ago and goes, "Well, you look 65."
Oh shoot.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. It's very generous and kind of you.
Why you gotta be so mean?
This is awesome.
I
didn't see this going this way at all. It all started with Nick's one good question.
Yeah. Well, okay, so going back into the dysfunction, I'll pull it back in. I'll rein us back in, and then we'll get off track, and I'll pull it back in. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
Real second.
Thank goodness you're here.
If you're looking at so that dysfunction and the obesity, let's talk about kind of what led you down that road to where that became your reality, because there was a way of thinking and believing about yourself that made that true, right? And so it showed up and reflected in your world.
Oh God.
So can you speak to that?
Okay, so I think this says it all, and I'm being so genuine with you. This says it all. Okay. Anybody who follows Steve knows how much Steve charges for coaching. I mean, to coach with Steve is a lot. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Go research it yourself. It's a lot. Ultimate coaching.
Can I just drop it here? I mean,
Go
it's
ahead.
a lot.
I don't.
Yeah, it's $200,000 a year.
A year. Okay.
A year.
So it's $2,000 an hour to sit in Steve's office. Okay, this is how desperate I was to get my health in order. When I sat in Steve's office for the first time, that is what I wanted to talk about. Was my weight, was my body, that was what, it's like, I don't know what it's like. I was working at Steve's house for 5 months, and I met the most amazing people, and everybody has their thing that they're working with Steve on. But I think a lot of people work with Steve. He coaches the whole person, but I think a lot of people maybe enter. I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Right.
That, people want to make money. I assume. I don't know that for sure, but I assume that's a lot of it. And I went in there and I'm like, I've got to lose weight. Like my body, the way I feel about my body, the way I hate myself because of my body. I'm sitting on the sidelines. I'm not living. That was what I wanted to talk about. And it was like, we talked about how there's so many women out there who, are full figured.
Yeah.
And can look at themselves in the mirror and just think that they're beautiful and stunning and that they're all that. And I saw myself in the mirror and I was like, God, you are so gross. That was the conversations I was having with myself. You are disgusting. Why can't you get it together? What's wrong with you?
I find this interesting. Yeah, because I'll cut you off often. So just cut me off back and we're golden.
I could go on and on.
I look at clients that go into coaching, and it's usually not a money thing. Usually they're pretty good at making money. It's a way of being that they're looking for. Yeah. And so when you go sit with somebody like that, like Steve, you're sitting there thinking, and this is just me imagining because I haven't had that experience, but I've had conversations with him, and it's more of who are you being?
Yes.
And it's like we're really good at doing things and getting things created, and obviously you're able to do that. Otherwise, you wouldn't be sitting in his office.
True.
So it's not even a financial thing; it's more of who you are inside of that. That's behind all of that, and that's what he offers. That's so unbelievable. Is like he really couldn't maybe show you how to run $1 billion company, but he could show you how to be the most incredible you that you've ever thought possible.
He really is, and that is what he is all about, is the B, capital B-E, underline, bold.
I think we're gonna have to change the name of the show to the Steve Show.
Yeah. It's all good. Right? It fits, it works.
Yeah.
But it's like, working with these coaches that helped me see what I couldn't see. It's like I am passionate about coaching, and not just about doing coaching. I mean receiving coaching, showing up for the coaching, because we all have blind spots. We have blind spots, things that we cannot see. And I love all these people. It's so funny because the people who are commenting, like Alex, I'm like, hi, Alex.
Because it's all our friends, right?
We're
hanging out with our friends.
Yeah. Hi, Jen. There's so many people that have commented that are I'm friends with on Facebook too, because we have so many common friends.
Yeah.
So anyway, yes, it was very ugly conversations I used to have with myself. Yeah. I felt that my ability to make money was impacted by my weight loss, by not my weight loss, by my weight gain.
And it was, right? Because you had that thought and you had that belief, it was impacted by that.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
And there's this one woman who I used to work for when I used to work in corporate America. I used to work in high technology, and that was one of my chapters. And I did contract work for this woman. Her name's Jennifer. And she was a VP at this big technology company, awesome lady. And she went after I lost all the weight. And, I haven't worked for Jennifer in 20 years. Yeah. But after I lost the weight, we were talking. And one day she told me that she knows with 100% certainty that I was passed up for opportunity because of my weight. I absolutely was. And, I discriminated against myself.
Yeah, I'm having an insight with this. I mean, as you speak that, and it was all self-created. And this is the hard part for people to hear, is that you put yourself in a position and you created that in your world so real that became your reality. And it did create what you described, a lack. And you got passed over, and then it became a justification, I'd imagine, or a judgment of, I knew it. I was right.
And you walk around judging yourself. I mean, I was just chronically judging myself, chronically beating myself up, chronically hating on myself, chronically being unkind towards myself. It's like my husband would tell me that I was beautiful, and I'm like, what a liar, and it's like, he's not lying. It's, I'm the problem. I'm the one who is sabotaging myself, sabotaging. And I was taught about dieting from the time I was about 7. And so it became innate in me, the not enoughness,
right? The
lack, the never having enough food. Mm-hmm. It's like, here I am in this circle, on this hamster wheel of not enoughness. Not eating enoughness, and it led to my obesity. Dieting led to my obesity.
Yeah, it's not like you could mask that either and just be positive, feeling that and believing that inside, and then just being positive. Oh, I'm good enough. Like Stuart Smalley on Saturday Night Live, right? I'm good enough. People like me, and doggone it, whatever he says.
Right.
Like me.
Yeah.
Doggone it.
He's trying to coach Michael Jordan. If you've ever seen that episode, that's a good one.
But if you're feeling underneath it, and this is a comment that was shared a while back, it's like frosting dog shit. it's like you feel like crap on the interior, but you're putting frosting on it. And that chronic positivity, or that toxic positivity is what they're labeling it as now, is kind of just frosting the dog shit. It's like you do not feel that inside. So giving space and grace to that, I think this is where I want to lead into now, is you got into that space where that happened and you're feeling that internally. And the first conversation you want to have with Steve going into there is around that. And then how did you convert it to where it was no longer dog shit, where it's no longer that feeling?
Well, you know, one of the awarenesses that I have had in the last, my weight loss journey, and the day that I got, and I do call it my sober date, whatever you, it's my sober date. The day that I stopped eating sugar, I haven't had sugar since June 19th, 2018. It's the last time I ate sugar. And that was, you know, food is my addiction. And I worked with Steve in 2015.
Yeah.
So that's how long it took for me to go from working with Steve, working with Allison, working with my coach, Julia. Like, I'm telling you, sometimes I have 3 coaches going at one time sometimes, because I really do want to be the best version of myself.
Right.
And it took the turning point. I'm sorry, this is really having a hard time coming out of my mouth. The turning point was the day my daughter graduated from high school, which was in May of 2018, the end of May. I'm going through the pictures. I have it right here. I'm going through the pictures of my daughter graduating. Oh, this isn't the one, but this is, because it's for people who don't know my story. This is me.
Man, wow.
That's what I look like. This is when I painted. This is when I painted the wall at Steve's house.
Holy cow. Yeah.
I'm looking at the pictures of my daughter's graduation, and I'm like, you are disgusting. You're disgusting. Like, and I can't even feel happy and excited and full of joy for my daughter graduating, because I'm so focused on how ugly I look to myself. Yeah. Then I'm looking in the mirror and I'm like, I give up. I give up. And I am going to have to learn to love myself as a fat person. That's all there is to it. Like, the only answer here is for me to love myself as a fat person. I don't like to use that word because it's very judgy. However, hi, sweetheart. It's very judgy.
Yeah.
But that's the way I talk to myself. And so, you know, with that, I'm like, I have to learn how to love myself like this. And I have to learn how to accept myself like this.
Yeah.
That was where it changed.
Okay.
That
so
was the switch.
Yeah. That giving up. Okay. So the word surrender, if we can play with this for a minute, the word surrender means to turn over to someone, something higher than yourself. And so if there's nobody to render over to, right, there's no surrender, because there has to be a receiver in the side of surrender. Like, you don't raise a white flag when there's nobody on the field. It's just you out there. You raise a white flag, people are looking at you like there's nobody out there. It's just you. You can't really surrender that way, right?
Exactly.
But within yourself, you can, because that giving up, that I give up, it is what it is. That acceptance, seriously, is the foundation of everything. Like, to get so real that I am hopeless, helpless where I am right now. I accept that I am where I am. I put myself where I am.
Yes.
That judgment that comes around that is what keeps us stuck in it. You know, that chronic judgment, that resentment for being there, that refeeling of that negative energy of I shouldn't be here, is what keeps us there. As soon as you can give up, that's where your world starts to shift.
Yeah. And it did. It was, you know, it was like learning the thing that the real thing that I'm teaching people in my program is, it comes down to, when you love yourself, when you nurture yourself, you certainly are not in the cabinet eating Wheat Thins and Cheez-Its by the handful before you go to bed, which was my story. That's my story.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I don't do that anymore because I love myself. It's like, I don't like to make salad. I don't like the process of chopping vegetables. To me, it's torture to chop vegetables.
I would agree.
However,
yeah.
Isn't the most loving thing that I can do for myself
beautiful
is to go in the kitchen and make myself the most beautiful, delicious salad you ever saw in your life.
Yeah, isn't that
Because
loving?
I
Right?
am worth it.
Holy cow. Can you re-emphasize that? Can you just say that again, like in a different
I'm gonna
way?
cry.
Yeah, that's okay.
See, in my TikTok, so on my TikTok channel and in my group, there's this salad that I made. And I made it with so much love for myself. I really did.
Old ladies
this salad,
can make TikTok videos.
Say again.
Old ladies.
What did you
we're
say,
gonna
Brian?
get canceled.
I know. Sorry, I said so. Old ladies can make TikTok videos. You can teach an old lady new tricks
and go viral. That's right.
And go viral.
And go viral.
Perfect.
So I'm in the kitchen and I'm making this beautiful spinach salad. It's a beautiful salad. And I'm remembering how much I used to hate cutting vegetables.
Yeah.
I'm remembering how much I didn't eat salad as much as I should. And I don't like to should on myself. But I'm reminding myself that this is not something I enjoy, as I'm kind of enjoying it. And the reason I'm enjoying it is because it is an act of kindness and caring towards myself.
Wow.
Like, it's so loving for me to make myself this beautiful salad. And it's gorgeous. Beautiful salad. Delicious too.
So the acts of kindness to yourself, I think of that. I would easily buy groceries for somebody, reach out to somebody and just say, how's your day going? But then when it comes to myself, there's this critical judgment, and I'm getting better at that as I get older here. Thank you, old age. As I get older, I get better at just letting that go and giving up in a way, accepting that, well, I've got some quirks and some things that are different. And, the older people get, I've seen people that are in their 70s and 80s and they're just figuring it out. Right. And then they're done with this life. It's amazing that they're saying the same things. I've denied my behaviors for so long. And what I'm learning to do is just live with myself the way I am. This is me in a way. And from that, you can create greatness, right? As soon as you accept yourself, that's when you really start to show up. And
we're all perfect. Exactly the way we are. And, the thing I say on that I didn't understand, this is the part I didn't understand.
Yeah.
I didn't understand. I know this is going to sound crazy. Thanks, Jen. The thing that I didn't understand is that I am lovable no matter the size of my body. The size of my body does not determine the value of who I am or how lovable I am. Yeah. And I spent 55 years judging myself based on the size of my body and deciding that I wasn't lovable. I'm not lovable because I'm overweight. I'm not lovable because I'm overweight. Wait a minute. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
So conditions, you put conditions on what love would look like. But here's what I love about this is we think of unconditional love as an external thing. Somebody should have unconditional love. And then with ourselves, there are all these conditions. Like, you're good if you do this, you're this if you do that, and it's like, there are so many conditions. How could anybody else ever say anything to you that would even appear to be unconditional if you're so conditional with yourself?
Right. Exactly. And it all starts with, it's like how we experience ourselves is how we experience others. How I judge me is how I judge others, and how I judge others is how I judge me. Anytime I'm judging someone else, the only person I'm judging is me. And I'm really clear on that.
I watched a video with Byron Katie, and she said she was talking to a gentleman, and she said, "So you're judging another person for the movie that you're projecting into their mind of what you think is going on, and then you're judging them from that movie that they don't even know about."
Right.
That projection. It really does always come back to what we're judging ourselves as, and then that shows up in relationship, that shows up in business, that shows up in life.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Shows up in every relationship that you have because you're there.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
You're there.
You know, one thing that I'm coming to the realization is how I have all these judgments around trust. You know, like one of the things is I make judgments about people, or I have an untrusting around people almost immediately.
Right.
Well, when that comes up with every person I meet, like there's something to look at within me, right?
What's the common denominator, right?
Yeah, what's going on in here that's having that come up? And so it's been really kind of cool to explore like the thoughts and the beliefs that are behind that, because like your life, I look at this, you had beliefs and they were based on values, and those values, I'm going to go through some cycle here a little bit. Values were the things that you held as important, right? I love connection, I love money, I love all these things, right? But then the beliefs come in, and you have this foundational value of what's important to you, but then your beliefs come in and say, well, that's hard to get, or I'm not worthy of that. And that's a belief. And then your thoughts support that. And then you have these thoughts that your beliefs say, let's anchor onto those thoughts. Even though there's 70,000 thoughts a day, your beliefs say, let's just pay attention to these. Yep. And then you have emotions around those that are depressing and sad. And then you act based on those emotions because that's what your beliefs told you to pay attention to.
Absolutely.
And the paradox in all of this is it all happened right here. Even the change within you, the new way of thinking was created by you within you.
Yeah.
And then your brain went and supported you in that. Like it's so phenomenal that your brain can be your greatest enemy or your greatest advocate.
Yeah, right.
It's crazy.
So true. It's so true.
It's all right here.
Yeah.
Right? It is you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Steve.
And I really was doing it to myself. I was it was just all a self-fulfilling prophecy. Yeah. To a point where, you know, when things, you know, yes, that moment where I saw myself in the photos and stuff, that was like a moment. But prior to that, I am like the Energizer Bunny. And when I have, like, I just go and go and go. I have a lot of energy. I have more energy than most. I drive myself crazy because I have so much energy.
Yeah.
I one time had a 25-year-old assistant working part-time. She would need a nap after working with me for half a day because I'm like running circles around her. Right. And I was like 45 at the time. And so I was in bed for 6 months. I was so sick. My obesity had led to so much dis-ease. I could not get out of bed for 6 months. I was so sick. It was horrible.
Yeah.
And so that too, you know, and I'm laying in bed and I'm beating myself up, and it's just that self-fulfilling prophecy, and it just kept going and going. And then the depression started to set in, and it was a horrible time.
Okay. So this is where I want to anchor in, and you can help correct me if I'm off on this, but that acceptance is what gave you the room to change it. So when you give up and you get into that space of surrender and acceptance that it is what it is. It is
what it is.
When there's an allowance for that, and
I love you too.
Yeah, I love you too. Thank you. And everybody else. So when you get in that space of acceptance, it really gives you the room to change, because when you're in that judgment, there is no room for change because you're in the judgment. Right. And so as soon as you can get into acceptance, then you release that judgment, and then you're looking into uncertainty, which is the possibility that's out there. Because when you get into possibility, like uncertainty, we have a quote that we use in our trainings in the 12 journeys. And it says that when nothing is certain, everything is possible.
That's so true. That is so true. Yes.
Yeah. And so when you get into that space of acceptance, you start moving into gratitude, you start moving into uncertainty. And then it's from that uncertainty that you create everything that you see. Well, the thing is, you've been doing it all along anyway. You were the one creating all of it, anyway.
I was. It's so true. And it's the other thing that I came clear on is that I literally, it's like, okay, when you struggle with obesity, you're shoving food in that your body doesn't want. Like, I want you to really think about this. I want people to think about this, because you're ignoring your body. You're ignoring yourself. You are shoving food in that your body doesn't want. Think about it. You really are. You're overfeeding yourself. Okay. So with that, I had developed diabetes, and I was starting to develop neuropathy. And for people that don't know what neuropathy is, it's when you start to lose the feeling in your extremities. So when I would sit for too long, I would start to lose feeling in my feet. And my hands would start to tingle and go numb. And what I realized probably just 6 months ago, I was like, I ignored myself. I shut myself up so much that my body literally started going numb. I mean, think about that.
Wow, you numbed.
I stopped feeling.
You numbed so much. Numbing, let's talk about that.
Yes.
You numb emotionally. Your body physically became numb, like physically, tangibly, measurably numb.
Yes.
Huh.
Isn't that something?
This
It's
is
a physical manifestation.
Yeah. So like Hugh said, am I ever in a space that I don't want to be in? I would think that the body knows what's best. The body's, doesn't want that, but the numbing comes in. The trying to the want is, I want to feel better. I want to make certain emotions go away.
Yes.
Or suppress them, suppress memories, suppress whatever is needs to be addressed at some point.
Shove it.
And then you feed your body, the things that make that kind of go away and get the chemical reaction from the body.
Dopamine.
Yep. And then that manifests into excess weight,
disease.
I
was very diseased, you guys.
Things
I
that,
was
and
sick.
probably the things that you really don't want then start showing up, but it's because you wanted in the first place to suppress the emotions and the
It's
and the
just
problems.
saying, like this quote here, like the Princess Bride, as you wish, right? Your body is simply a servant to you and whatever you're creating, and it'll do whatever you want. It's an incredible machine, and it's designed to support you or hinder you. Like,
yes. And the thing that, especially people my age, I see it over and over again, because I have 2 TikTok channels. One is where I'm teaching people how to make the food that I eat, and the other is where I'm teaching people about the journey of getting their mind right, because the first thing you have to do is lose the weight in your mind. Because if every time I walk by a mirror, I'm going, oh my God, you're so fat. Oh my God, you're so gross. Fat, 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 fat. I'm just going to keep manifesting that. I'm just going to keep meeting that thought with actions. And so we have to lose the weight in our mind first. And
that ties to anything.
It's so heart wrenching to me how many people message me through TikTok in particular and literally say, and they're women my age, and they're saying, help me, help. What do I do? How? Help, because they're so desperate to not feel the way they feel. And they don't even understand that there's a way to heal. They don't know, because the other thing that I really came to recognize over the last 3 years is our doctors, they practice medicine. They don't practice wellness, they practice medicine. And so I haven't had medical insurance for 5 years.
Yep.
Never been healthier, because I don't have anybody practicing medicine on me. I have a doctor who practices wellness.
Yeah.
Because he does not take insurance. So my doctor runs a practice that runs kind of like a health club. And so I pay him a monthly fee. I get unlimited access to him. So his business is profitable when he don't see my smiling face. That's how his practice runs.
I've got a thought that's coming up as you shared that, the women reaching out and saying, help me.
Yeah.
I think people want to they want to be rescued when they forget that they have the power to save themselves.
Yeah.
So they lean on others for that rescue, what they perceive as rescue, right? They're still doing the work. So they still are doing the saving of themselves. They're just the idea, like a placebo, that I've read the research that a placebo works, even if you know it's a placebo. So if
Interesting, I never read that.
If rescue is a placebo, and the idea that rescue will help you, and you believe that, then it will help you. But there's a point that you realize, wow, I'm doing all the work anyway. And so then you look at people as support, not rescuers, supporters, right?
Yeah.
People that you can lean on and move forward with, but they're not your rescuers in a sense. Does that make sense?
No, I totally tell people because I thoroughly agree with you. I'm just a guide.
Yeah.
That's all I am. I'm just a tour guide to help you find your way back to you.
Yeah.
To loving you, because when you love you, you care about you.
Yeah.
And when you care about you, you do the things physically, do the things that equal caring about yourself. Well, and like I said, having those nightly dates with the Cheez-Its and the Wheat Thins, my drug of choice, that's not loving myself.
Yeah. Yeah, to really slow down with it and be with the thoughts and the beliefs behind it. Because here's what I know about emotions. If you follow Lisa Feldman Barrett, one of the top researchers on emotion and where emotion comes from, done a ton of research around it. Every emotion comes from a thought. It's not the other way around. Thoughts don't come from emotions. Emotions come from thoughts.
I agree.
The challenge is we're so unconscious to the thoughts, we don't pay attention to where those emotions are coming from. But when you can feel an emotion and then look at the thoughts, well, then at that point, because you have 50,000 to 70,000 thoughts a day, it would be too overwhelming to tackle the thoughts. So you go after the beliefs. Yeah. Because the beliefs are what are in between your values and your reality. And so when you can really look at the beliefs, the things that you're holding on dear, whether they're positive or useful or negative or unuseful, that's where the change occurs. Because when you start to shift those beliefs and challenge those beliefs and reframe them, then you start to pay attention to new things in your world. I look at your journey as exactly that. You had a set of beliefs that said one thing, and for years you lived that to the point that you're in bed for 6 months.
Yes, I was the small.
Yeah.
Let's just we're here talking about giants and smalls, right?
Right.
I was stuck in my small thinking.
Yeah.
I was stuck, and I didn't understand that I could heal myself with food by just changing everything I was taught upside down on its head.
That's an interesting thought. The thing that was causing all the mental was causing a lot of that and not addressing it, but the food that was also making you gain weight, you just shifted what food you then put in, and good things started to happen. Isn't that?
Well, it's literally, we were all my age group. We were all taught. My mother put me on non-fat milk when I was 7 because I was too fat. So I literally have been dieting since I was 7. And we were all taught that you cannot eat fat. Don't eat fat. Don't eat fat. Fat makes you fat. Cholesterol causes cholesterol.
Right.
No. That is not the case.
Right.
Fat doesn't make you fat. Sugar and highly processed foods is what makes you fat.
Right.
And so I literally turned the food pyramid upside down.
Okay, so I'm just getting triggered with thoughts, around this. I look at processes. That's where my mind goes, is what are the steps? Because I want people to take actionable things out of this, not just be inspired, but be able to go out of these conversations and say, I know exactly what to do. But so I think of Einstein's brain, right? Einstein had 86 billion neurons. You have 86 billion. We're all pretty similar in that sense. He had more glial cells than the average person in his neocortex and his hippocampi. And those are the memory stores and the manipulation of those memory stores in the brain. when he put information in, he put more information in than the average person, and then learned to manipulate that, eventually coming up with the theory of relativity.
Mm-hmm.
When you shift what you're putting into your brain, information that you're putting into your brain, it stores in there. And when you start manipulating that, you increase the number of glial cells in your brain, and you start to shift your beliefs, because what you're feeding into your brain starts to shift the way you see the world. And that perception shifts your beliefs. And then that's what shows up. So when you start to pay attention to new things like you did, Nadine, you start to think differently, you start to believe differently, and then guess what shows up in your world?
Different actions.
Yeah.
Different everything.
Different everything. Different everything. I'm often asked, isn't it hard to not eat sugar? Isn't it hard to not eat highly processed foods?
Yeah.
It's not. It is not hard for me at all. It would have been hard when I hated myself so much.
Yeah.
When I was not being kind to myself, it probably would have been really hard.
Yeah.
But I don't miss any of it. I just don't, because I feel too good. Physically, I feel good. Emotionally, I feel good. Spiritually, I feel good. I feel so good. I've never felt this good in my life.
Can I want to highlight your beliefs in there, because you could easily share the belief that it's hard, and then everything that you see in the world and judge and feel supports that belief.
Yeah.
You could easily believe that it's easy, and then that's what you see in the world. And it's not covering it with frosting. It's simply recognizing that you have a chance to really practice making that your reality. Because the beliefs, there's nobody that can go in and just tinker around and change your beliefs. There's no software.
No.
There's no update, right?
No. And I just had to do so much changing about how I saw myself and my own worthiness. And, it's like, I have 5 children. And being a mother of 5 and a wife, I always put everybody ahead of me. Everybody else is more important than me. And then I'm at the bottom of the list, and you can't care for anybody else if you don't care for yourself. And, I just came back from California. I was there for 2 weeks, and I was there caring for my children and caring for my grandchildren. And one of my kids had surgery. And so I couldn't have done that 3 years ago. I could not have done it physically. I wouldn't have been able to. And it's like, because I now care for myself, I can, the most loving thing that any of us can do for our families is to care for ourselves. And I don't think we're really taught that is the most loving thing you can do for yourself. My daughter, after I lost the weight and came back to life, I was like a wilted flower.
Yeah.
My daughter, who's now 17, she was 15 at the time, said to me, "Mom, I am so thankful that you are back, because I really, really missed you while you were gone. You were gone from me, and I really missed you. And I'm so thankful that you're back."
Holy cow. Yeah.
And that was just me caring for me, that I'm able to show up for her. I'm going to cry.
Huh. I'm blown away by this. It's like, I was studying some things this morning, and one of the things that I watched was around narcissism, right? It's one of the things that we face, and it's freely thrown around. I think people have traits for it, right? We have self-interested traits.
Yes.
But I think the big distinction is that a narcissist will truly use somebody else for their fulfillment.
Yes.
Without regard for that person, and without any insight that they're at play. What I hear in this is that we get sometimes self-absorbed, where we might lean on somebody and use some of their energy to support ourselves, but there's a point where we realize, I got to do this for myself. And that's a distinction, because somebody that's in a narcissistic state would never see that. They wouldn't care. They wouldn't have any awareness around it. We might go unconscious and lean on people for a bit, but we come back and we recognize how our actions and behaviors and thoughts influence and affect other people. And so I think that's where a clear distinction is that when you start to realize that you have a say in your life, and that your sayings, whatever you're saying in your life, is creating your reality,
Big time.
That could be really scary, and it can be really exciting, right?
It can be really scary. It can.
Yeah.
The day I stopped eating sugar, you guys, I cried and cried. I was breaking up with it. I have to assume it's no different than somebody deciding that they're not going to drink alcohol anymore. Like, you're breaking up with a friend who comforted you.
Yeah.
And when I broke up with sugar, and that's what I called it, my breakup, I cried and cried because I was terrified. And going back to the whole narcissism, caring for others, caring for yourself.
Yeah.
One of the other things that I recognized when I was so sick is that I don't think people really think about this. And this is going to be a big, like, maybe smack people around a little bit. And I apologize in advance. But I did not have the right to sign my family up without their permission to be my caretaker. And I literally was headed down a path where they were going to have to push me in a wheelchair. That's the path I was headed down. And I didn't have a right to sign my family up for that. I needed to take care of me so that they don't have to take care of me.
Isn't that a paradox? Isn't that interesting? The more we take care of ourselves, the more we can show up for others fully.
Yes.
If I'm dependent on somebody else, I have no responsibility and no say in my life. And that's not fair to anybody else.
And it's not. It's like that. I think that it was very selfish of me.
Yeah.
To not take care of myself, not take care of my body, not take care of my wellness, to a point where I'm like, that's okay. You guys will take care of it. You'll push the wheelchair around when I can no longer walk. Because come on, I was already getting neuropathy. So I was signing my family up for things that without their permission.
I love this because part of our journeys is the waking up. You can't change anything until you wake up to it, till you recognize that it's there. And when you talk about feeling small in this area, this is one of those areas that you felt small. There's going to be others.
Big time.
Right?
Yes.
So when you recognize that you're small in an area, oh man, there's so much for you to create around that.
Yes.
But if you don't know it, there's nothing to change. There's no change.
That's why you need coaches.
Yeah.
That's why you got to have coaches and therapists to help you see the blind spot.
Yeah. We get so stuck in our stories. I mean, I've had coaching conversations with people and they tell me their story and I'm like, that's great. I probably would have bought that book. It's a great, very believable story. In fact, you could probably get
told me that same thing. I wanted to punch him in the face. You told me that. It's like, yeah, hey man, that was a good story you just told. I'd probably buy that book. I was like,
I've had
middle finger was like,
I like that. That's a great line.
I've had people tell me to fuck off because of it. and I feel bad, but I don't. I want to wake people up to the stories that they're telling, because that once you recognize the stories there, then we can do something about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've worked one-on-one with Byron Katie. And I know we're about out of time, but
no, we can keep
really good at tearing down those stories.
Yeah. Yeah, I would love that. Would be an experience. Wouldn't that be amazing? I mean,
it really is something else
for you to be sitting with her.
It's amazing.
Tell us just briefly what was the biggest thing that you recognized with her when you were with her?
Is that that it's all just a story that I made up in my head, that it's the work that I did with her was surrounding a very specific person in my life. And so I don't want to say that person. But she helped me to see that the thoughts that I was having regarding where this person was, what they were doing, how what I was doing was impacting what they were doing, the entanglement between me and this person, that it was just all in my head, and that I was reacting to things that didn't even happen.
Yeah.
Like I literally was walking around like this person was already dead. And they were not dead. And when I say dead, I do mean literal. That I was so afraid that this person was going to take their own life that it was paralyzing me.
Yeah.
and she helped me to break it down. It was very powerful when I worked with her.
I feel like we could talk for hours. I feel like there's so much. I mean, we haven't even touched the tip of the iceberg and what's inside of Nadine Larder. And so, you know, as we kind of wrap up here though, if you were to share, this is a question I love to ask, is if you were to go back in time and share a piece of wisdom with yourself, you choose the point in time, you choose the, you know, where it would be, what would you share with yourself that would really impact you?
That it's going to be okay. That I don't need to worry. I don't need to have anxiety. I can stay in the present moment. I can live my life. I can love myself. It's okay to love yourself. It's okay to accept yourself, and that it simply is going to be okay. You know, one of the things that Steve said to me so many times, especially when I was painting that wall, because I had a lot of moments of doubt, is everything is always unfolding perfectly. And it is.
Man. Brian, what are you thinking, man? I know your head is just spinning with like wisdom and
wisdomness.
No,
I sat. There was so many comments that like I was following comments and trying to keep up with that. So
I appreciate
and
that.
I'm so
just doing
appreciative.
my job.
I saw all the comments and
That's
all my friends. And
we're 142
so
comments right now is what I'm showing.
And there'll
I
be a
can't
lot.
wait to go
There'll
watch
be a
them.
lot. Yep. And go back. That Nadine, that's what I would encourage you to do, is go back and have conversations with these people. And
I will.
And you know, and then also, I would encourage, like, anytime you're feeling some of these emotions and just wondering, you know, like, I sat here and listened to Nadine and thought about me and how much how relatable it was. And even though we both had different upbringings and some of the different experiences, the relatability of how I was judging myself and perceiving the judgments of others and creating stories, it hit home. And I'm grateful for people like Nadine who go through these things and then wake up to their giant potential and start wanting something different and something more. And then turn around after they've found some of the things that have helped them, and then share them with others. So they can't live your life for you. Nadine can't come over and just hang out and be right next to you all the time, even though we want to put Gam Gam in your pocket. I know, Gam Gam, because we're very similar. We have the same personality.
Yeah.
We're lovers. We just love people and love life. And I believe that you're probably very empathetic. You're an empath. You feel.
When you grew up in a dysfunctional home, you are definitely an empath, and I am extremely empathic.
I see that in you, and I experience you that way. But I also experience you as somebody that's healing and growing, and that is living life to the absolute fullest, and that you've reclaimed your life. That it's no longer in control of, you know, of just anything that comes in. It's you get to decide. It doesn't mean the emotions and the problems of life don't come in. They still come.
Of course. Oh God,
But
they're
Nadine,
nonstop.
she has the tools now. Yeah, they are nonstop. Gosh damn it.
That's good to hear. People need to hear that. They don't go
sucks.
away.
It's nonstop.
No. Life sometimes really does suck. There's some hard shit that comes up. There's some really hard stuff. There's death. There's you know, there's, I don't know, bad things that happen in life. But in all of it, you have a choice. You can change your experience. And it was just, for me, as I sat here, I just was soaking it in and thinking and taking inventory. Okay, Ryan, where are you at? What are you allowing to control you, when really you can control that? And then find coaches. There's some amazing people. If you want some people that are absolutely amazing, I tagged so many. There's so many people I didn't tag in this, but every single person that I saw on here commenting has amazing experience. There's some of the best friends, the best people that I have ever met. If you want to follow Steve Hardison, you follow Steve Hardison for even just a minute, you'll feel the love that man has for everybody. And then
real too.
it's real.
It is real as real can be.
Absolutely.
It's real.
And then what will happen inevitably is you'll become friends with all of his friends. Hi, Alex.
And you might.
Right? Oh, there's Alex. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Then we have like this family reunion every time we get together.
Yeah, you might get a book with his name in it.
Yeah, you might get a book.
Do not give this away.
So we'll just keep sending books to Steve. It says, don't give this away, so that we know that Steve will give it away.
Well, yes, he will.
I'm so grateful.
I've given him gifts that he's given away too.
Nothing is permanent with Steve.
No.
He lives by the impermanence of all things.
If it'll bless somebody else's life and they can find the value in it, then he does it. He'll do it 100%.
Yeah.
Only always.
He is an incredible. I am so blessed. I mean, we didn't even get to tell the story of how I met him. We didn't get to tell the story of how, when I was 1.3 million in debt. There's so many comeback stories I have.
We'll just have to have you on more of the shows. We have a radio podcast. We'll just have you back on. Is that okay?
There's nothing I'd love more.
See, that's how we commit people. Live TV. Be weird if they said no.
We're like, oops, sorry.
Yeah. She's like, no, nah, I'm good.
Do I look like I don't want to come back right now?
Yeah, no. You look
perfect.
You just have an incredible energy.
Thank you.
You really do. And
I appreciate that so much.
I think people would benefit just even having a conversation with you. And
so,
yeah.
So if
we don't talk at all here,
I can hear like a whole stadium cheering. You know, you left, you spoke, and went in the back, and we need an encore.
Me too. You know, and just so you know, I really do have a goal. My goal is to help 1 million women.
No less
than 1 million women get their health back on track, because I know when you get mom, wife, caretaker, nurturer, in most cases, the woman is the caretaker, nurturer, not always. So I don't mean to generalize. However, you get mom on track with different eating habits. My family lost over 200 pounds simply just because I changed the way I was eating. My family got healthy. And so I know that if I can help women get healthy, I can help families get healthy. And then we change the world.
I was going to make a joke, but it's not really. That's where my mind goes. Like, I lost 135 pounds, but that was in my divorce.
In my first divorce, I lost
somewhere else.
However, I gained it all back.
Yeah.
And I know what you mean.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother conversation, because my ex-husband and I are actually very good friends.
We are too.
His wife I just love her.
It takes effort, but that's the beauty of all of this, is when you do your work, you start to let go of some of the shit that you held on somebody else, right? Like,
yes. My ex-husband's a good man. He's a good man. My husband is a good man. My ex-husband's wife is a wonderful, wonderful, beautiful human being. And I'm thrilled to call her one of my dear friends.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love that. That's going to be another show. That's going to be on the radio.
I can't wait.
One of like 400.
Yeah, or the 400th. For those that are watching, man, we really appreciate you. We appreciate your comments. We appreciate your support. If you want to find out how you can support and sponsor us, we can have that conversation. Otherwise, just keep enjoying these. If this was the only show that you ever saw, your life would be changed. And we have hundreds of these. And so go on to our YouTube channel, subscribe, make sure you're seeing the videos. We have more interviews just like this, all different perspectives. You'll find yourself in those interviews. You'll see somebody else's story and you'll say, that's me. That's exactly what I needed to hear. It's there. I know it's already there. So make sure you're doing that. Because where you are, like Nadine, this is what I love. Like, you are exactly, I love the X. My brother gave me this stone. It's got a perfect X in it.
Oh yeah, I've seen that on your guys' profiles before.
I painted on my toenails. If I ever coach with Steve, or when I coach with Steve, let me say it that way. That'll be my flag.
See, you just got coached.
I just got coached. I caught myself.
John.
But we are all exactly where we're supposed to be. You wouldn't be where you are today, Nadine, without your experiences in the past. So trust that divine guidance. Trust that you're exactly where you should be.
Oh, Stephen. Hi, Stephen.
Happy birthday the other day, brother.
Love you, brother. It's so true. We are exactly where we're supposed to be. My flag is a smiley face.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
The yellow. I have my flag is yellow with the big
yes. Yeah. I love
Mine
it.
would have some sort of Batman. I'm sure me and Jen would have similar flags.
Yeah. Lego Batman.
Yeah. We'll figure it out. I already got the rights to that, Jen. Sorry.
Oh,
oh boy, it's a challenge.
I love you. I'll do whatever you want. You do whatever you want.
The aviator symbol on hers.
Yeah. Well, man, anything else you guys want to share before we wrap up?
What else? What other final piece of wisdom does Gam Gam have?
Just everybody needs a Gam Gam. So true, like what you guys said at the beginning. And so come on down. I'll be your Gam Gam. Just, love yourself the way you are. Love
like
yourself.
Thousands of people show up to your house.
You are. Because you deserve to be loved exactly as you are. You are perfect the way you are. You don't need to wait until to love yourself. Like I spent my entire life. If I just was 5 pounds heavier, then I can lighter, then I can love myself. That's bullshit. Pardon my French. That's total bullshit. We deserve to love ourselves exactly as we are. We are perfect. You are perfect.
Awesome. Guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next episode.
I love you guys too.
Psych, we're back.
Yay, more Gam Gam.
So
I assume we are not broadcasting now.
Well, we are on social media.
Okay.
We're still on social media.
Okay.
That was beautiful. An hour and 11 minutes, just synchronicity. I love the timing of that.
Oh my God, I didn't even notice that.
We got 11 live viewers still. And so there's a lot of synchronicity in this. 11 for your wall. I hope you got chills, but
that is too much. I'm never surprised. Ever.
Yeah.
Surprised.
No. The odds are surprisingly low and incredibly high, right? That's what Ryan keeps saying. Yeah. But man, that was fun. That was fun.
I enjoyed it. I had a good old time. I told you I enjoyed this sort of thing.
Yeah. Like I think this is what I love about it. Like I love looking at the processes. I nerd out. Like I hear you say things and I just want to dive in and dissect so that I can take the actionable stuff out. And sometimes the emotion is there for me, but a lot of times I go scientific, Like
I love nerding out, as Ryan, I'm sure, understands. Because of our ADHD.
I'll nerd out for about 7 seconds.
Yeah, right.
And then disappear for a minute, and then I might
our
come back
logo,
to it.
The 8-second goldfish.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we did come up with that.
Yeah, the guy riding the goldfish for 8 seconds.
8-second goldfish.
Oh my God. I really do drive myself crazy sometimes. I do. I still think it's my greatest gift. However,
you drive yourself crazy.
I drive myself. The big thing for me where I drive myself the craziest is where I lose stuff. Because my mind is over here while I'm carrying, my coffee cup. I lose my coffee cup 15 times a day. And I, set the coffee cup down because, like I said, I'm energized.
I can't leave my keys out of my pocket. They'll be gone. They're gone.
Of course they're going to be gone.
And then it's everybody else. Where'd you guys put my keys?
I
kids
just know
my
it's
car
me.
keys. Like,
I don't even
where's
bother
my
to
keys?
ask.
Yeah.
I just start retracing my steps because I know I did it.
Yeah.
And I drive myself crazy losing things. And I know when I'm visiting my kids and I'm in their house, I know I drive them crazy. I know I do. They're just kind and they don't say it. But I know that.
Thank you to all the kind people, right?
Leaving this here and that here. And I'm
thanks for being kind with us and just being gentle.
Thank you for being kind.
We need it.
I make myself very upset with the way I leave stuff laying around. I really
me, you, and Natalie in a room would be hilarious. It's pretty funny, really.
I'd be sitting over here like, oh my god,
What is wrong with
oh
those
my
people?
gosh, what the?
It's bad.
How do you even?
It's bad.
Get dressed, function? I don't know.
How do you even?
I wonder. I do. Executive dysfunction is a real thing.
Yeah.
Should we do a show with just like 4 or 5 people that have ADHD to the max?
Gosh.
That'd be hilarious.
That would be the most
I would watch
colorful
it.
show ever. The Calico Show.
For a minute. I'd watch it for a minute.
That's so funny. Well, what's interesting is going back to the whole my childhood and my own children. I see your daughter there. Hello, beautiful daughter. Is I taught my mother taught me how to judge myself because my mother, I'd watch her every day. My mother, when she'd get dressed, when she'd be, putting her clothes on, I watched her criticize herself and how she found herself unacceptable every day. And it was every day. And what do you think I taught my kids?
Yeah.
I literally taught my kids how to judge themselves.
Right.
Every day. Because every day I showed up and I judged myself in front of them. And I didn't accept myself as I was in front of them. And so I taught them that they too are not acceptable as they are.
Man.
I taught them that. And I am not happy about
it. We're
true.
almost 200 comments on your show. Like that.
Say again?
We're almost 200. We're 188 comments.
Is that a lot?
That's a lot.
Well, like 187 of them are from me and Natalie.
Well, that's Ryan and Natalie. But...
Hey, stop taking away from it.
Yeah. Well, that diminished.
Natalie is my friend.
Yeah, she's coming. She's on her way. She just found her purse and her car keys. She's on her way south right now to hang out with Gam Gam.
Yay!
Awesome, guys. I love it. Well, thanks for hanging on for a minute after too. I'm gonna go do birthday lunch and dinner with my daughter. And
it's your daughter's birthday or your birthday?
It was yesterday. It was my daughter's.
Oh, well, happy birthday to your 12. Daughter.
Yeah.
How exciting.
She just turned 12. It's exciting. She's fun.
She's just about to get to the fun parts. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
What we call it.
I raised 4 daughters through the fun parts.
Yeah.
I have 3 in the fun parts right now.
3 girls and 1 boy.
Oh my gosh. How old are your girls?
So my oldest is 18, and then I've got a 12-year-old girl and a 9-year-old. That's Capri. Okay. And then Marco is 16.
Okay.
And so
Thank goodness for Marco.
Yeah, like my son. Same. Thank God. He was way easier.
Marco's gonna watch this episode down the line.
Yeah.
What?
We're doing a lot better.
We do love you, Marco.
But man, he's a lot like me. Deeply emotional. Yeah.
Good
dude. Yeah.
Extremely handsome too. He has more hair.
Very, very intelligent. What else? Exactly like me.
Well, I always said that my
charming,
son was going to be a great catch.
Yeah.
Because he grew up around, he has 4 sisters and 1 stepsister. So he has 5 sisters.
Yeah. Huh.
And I always said he's going to be a great catch. And he really is such a good husband and such a good dad. I'm so proud of who he is.
That's awesome. That's awesome. It does teach him, huh?
I would think.
Yeah.
I would think. I don't know. It's either going to teach him or make him very, what's the word? Cold.
Yeah.
And
right.
Can't do this is just drama.
Completely shut down, non-emotional, cathartic.
One of the two.
Nadine and I are going to help people or just turn them.
He's glazed over. He just writes in a journal the same word 400,000 times. I can't. I love it.
You guys are awesome. I had so much fun.
Yeah, thanks, Nadine.
Thank you so much.
We'll do this again for sure.
I can't wait. Love you guys too. I will see you on Facebook for sure.
Awesome. Okay, see you guys.
Bye, guys.